Yeah, 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 Urko. Hey, 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 look. Yo, what's up? I go by the name of Steph Urko, and welcome back to another episode of the Millennial Dungeon. How's everybody doing this beautiful weekend? I know I had a great weekend. Here we have our lovely co-host, Sylvette. What's up?
Hi, hello.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
And you already know I'm about to say, kicking it like a donkey. You know what I'm saying? And you can roll your eyes all you want to. You can shut them off like you praying, but just
I'm
that's my
I'm just gonna
catchphrase.
let you have it.
Yeah, I
It's
will.
your thing. It's the Lord's day. He accepts you, so do I.
First of all, we're not gonna act like that's the worst catchphrase in the history of man. Talking about the Lord accepts you, you fine. You know, don't do that.
It's very you. It's very you.
See, I feel like you feel like an employer that's about to fire you. See, it's very you, but it's not us.
Typical you.
I feel like I'm about to get fired. But what you do this weekend?
Just a bit of ripping and running, dipping and dodging, out and about.
Okay,
I
that's
guess what I'm trying to say is I had a long week. I was very busy this week.
I see that. That's very you. That's very
me. A lot of work, a lot of school, acting classes, but good, productive. How about you?
I'm saying doing a lot of errands. I had a busy week at work. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad it's over. Just to start back over tomorrow. But I I got some workout done this weekend, so I'm trying to look like Michael B. Jordan, something
Yeah.
like. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, see, don't make me get out them gun shoes. Don't
The gun show.
exactly. Don't do that. Don't tempt me out here.
Smith and Wesson.
All right, Hulk Hogan, Hulkia Hogan and stuff. What kind? But yeah, but I got a lot of things done, being productive as possible.
That's good.
So our topic for
Mhm.
today, we talk about Russell Wilson, Sierra, and Future. And the reason why we're gonna talk about because there's a clip, I don't know if you've seen it online, of an ex-former football player, Channing Crowder, and
Oh, I did.
yeah, you saw that. So it's like a little clip
Mhm.
of him giving his little opinions on how he feels about Russell Wilson, because obviously, Russell Wilson's here been going strong for a few years now, for years.
Yes.
And people have a little certain dislike for Russell Wilson because obviously he's different than her last ex Future. So, but we're gonna get into it. So we have a clip that's coming up right here that we're gonna pull up right now. Give us a second. So it's basically Channing Crowder on his podcast, and he's talking about Russell Wilson and Sierra's relationship. So here's the clip right now.
Sierra. Yeah, if Russell ain't had that bread, Sierra ain't gonna be with him. Russell Square. Russell Square. Russell Square. Sierra had she has a good situation, but you don't leave Future and get with Russell Wilson.
The thing is,
I
think
that's where you don't leave
though.
Future and get Russell Wilson. Like, it's a type. Listen, bro, everybody got a type.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody has a type. You gonna leave Future and get with Russell Wilson? He's so damn square, and I love him on the field. He's a square.
Channing.
He's a fucking square.
Channing, you go from this level of toxicity, you just want something stable. You want the guy that was sitting with that girl with that big old mouth at the draft that was laughing, and you knew she deserved to be with him.
Goofball?
Yeah, you want that guy.
You want to get with goofballs.
No. So we after just seeing the clip, what you feel about that? Because I got a lot to say.
I don't understand. It doesn't make sense what he said to me because, first of all, I'm so tired of hearing the whole she's only with him for money, as if Sierra didn't have her whole own career for herself and her own money. So that doesn't make sense. And then also, if that were the case, Future had money. So if it was just about money, she would have stayed with him too. So that's ridiculous. And then also saying Russell Square. How is he square? He's at the top of his game. He's a decent guy. He stays out of trouble. He gives back to the community. He takes care of his family. What is square about that? So it was just weird. And then also he said something about everybody has a type, which is true, but people change. Just because you used to date someone a certain way, that doesn't mean that for the rest of your life you got to date this kind of person. That's ridiculous too. So I just really thought that it was I felt embarrassed for him, honestly, because you're a grown man and he sounded like a little kid, like, oh, he's not cool enough, so that therefore he shouldn't be with this woman. It's like, you're a grown man.
Right. This is something that I've been hearing about Russell Wilson for like 3 or 4 years, that he's a square, and like Sierra want to transition over to a dude like him, or and leave Future for a dude like him. Like, you rarely see that and stuff. Okay, I'm gonna give my personal opinion on Russell Wilson. Personally, I never thought he was a square. I never thought he was corny. Like, every press conference and interview I've seen Russell Wilson in, he just seemed like a normal, like, average dude. So I never got like why dudes try to come, man, he a square, he a cornball and stuff like that. How is he a cornball for just being a regular dude? All he do is like play football, say he like to go home, take care of his family, like the golf and stuff. That's it. Like,
I do have a question. I don't mean to cut you off, but do you happen to know, or did you notice if people thought that Russell Wilson was square before he got with Sierra?
No. See, and that's a good point too. I noticed this when they first started dating. Like, obviously, well, when he was single and stuff, all people really talked about him being a football player, which he's a great football player. One of the best quarterbacks I've seen in this last decade, you know. And as soon as he started dating a girl like Sierra, somebody that just came from a toxic dude like Future, all of a sudden he's oh, look at this dude, he got her. How he gets somebody like her? He cornball and stuff like that. But I never understood it, because he's a regular dude. Like, and this is why I wanted to choose this topic too, because I especially see like dudes like this, especially like in our community, like, why is being regular or just a family dude considered corny? Because Russell Wilson don't seem that much different from a Tom Brady or Brett Favre or a Peyton Manning, who
absolutely not. Who, you know what I'm saying? They just go do their jobs, they do great at it, and then they go home to their families. And that's it. You don't hear about them.
Why is that corny? And it's like I think a lot of it like deals with projection, because at the same time, because like one, we gotta realize that Russell Wilson is not from the street or doesn't have that hood persona. So it's like, as a black men, we're told that we have to do that. You know what I'm saying? That's a stereotype that's even rooted from racism itself, that we just go with now. You know what I'm saying? We just go with the flow with and just think is a norm. So like, as black men, we're just projected to have this kind of toughness or hardness, or be as far as on edge, in order to be seen that test our masculinity. And since Russell Wilson doesn't have that, he's seen as corny or square, as not a masculine black man. But just because he's not a tough guy or a street dude doesn't mean he's not masculine. It just means he's different.
He's like a man. That's the thing. Like, Russell Wilson is actually a man, because it's not, I mean, I'm not a man, so I don't know the ins and outs, but I think part of being a man is knowing who you are. You don't have to constantly put up this front of you're so tough and I'm so masculine. If you're a man, you know that, and you carry yourself like that. So people see that already. You don't have to constantly beat people over the head with it. And I think that may be part of it. Like, Russell Wilson said something about like how he got Sierra. Like, he told her that his beat up wallet showed consistency, and that's what you're going to get for me. And like, sure, maybe for men that might be like a little, like other guys, that's a little corny or whatever, but like, that's what a real man would say. Like, I'm going to be there for you, I'm going to be consistent for you. It's not about putting on this front that like, yeah, I'm this player, whatever. And I think like maybe that's something that a lot of people aren't used to.
Yeah,
they're used to the like macho-ness exuding, rather than it just being internal, and then you see that and you're like, oh.
Exactly. And it's like, as far as like, I know I keep on bringing the race card, but this is something that does affect us more. But as black men, like, we're told that we have to be tough, or have to have that tough exterior on the outside, and got to have that little streetness or edge to us in order to be seen as masculine. But it's like, there's nothing more masculine than a man being able to provide and protect his family and be confident and like own up to it. You get what I'm saying? It's like, that's all you really need to be like a masculine man to me. You don't always have to be like the tough, like what you say, macho and aggressive. But I mostly see that in our community. You get what I'm saying?
I do. And even still too, like, I understand that the way the world is, it sometimes requires Black men especially, to be a lot harder than they may want to be.
Yeah.
But when it comes to relationships and your partner, you shouldn't be like that still, you know? Like if you can't break that down with them, then what are you doing, you know?
Yeah. Now I have a question for you, because he is a point that you look all flat like me.
Who else though?
But one of the questions I have for you is like, obviously we know Future, Sierra and Russ are like big celebrities, but like let's go back down to like, to regular day life and reality. Do you think there's a lot of Russell Wilsons out there that a lot of women like look past, or that's not true at all? You think women go for the Russell Wilson as their first pick, or no?
Ooh, that's kind of hard to say, because for me, I would like to say like, oh yeah, I'd go for the Russell Wilson. And I think a lot of people would like to think that they would go for the Russell Wilson initially.
Yeah.
I think in reality, maybe, I won't say most, but a lot of women may not go for the Russell Wilson the first time. But I don't think it's because he's square or anything like that. I think it's more so a personal thing for the woman, because you imagine what you want in a relationship and what you want in a partner, and then you picture how you are, and so you think like you deserve certain things, or like you're looking for certain things, and so you get with people who may not be the best for you, but because you feel a certain way or you're looking at things a certain way, that's what you think this ideal relationship should be. So maybe you do get with a guy who's more like Future because you think like, yes, I want the risk and I want all this stuff, I want the drama, and that means he loves me and all this stuff. And it's like, when you mature, or like maybe if you take the time to reflect and you really take the time to figure out who you are as a woman and how to better yourself and get to where you need to be as a person, then you are in a place where you're ready for a Russell Wilson, I guess. So maybe you don't get him at first,
yeah,
but down the line, you grow and then you realize like, wow, like, and I do think there are a lot of guys like Russell Wilson around, and unfortunately, maybe they don't get as much love and appreciation as they deserve, or as maybe as quickly as guys like Future should. But it just takes some growth to get there, I guess.
Right.
To that kind of partner.
I'm gonna give you a little silent round of applause, because that's the best answer I heard from a woman, like in these last few weeks. Because I feel like a lot of girls won't admit that, what the answer that you just said, because even though I don't agree with the dude saying that, oh yeah, he's a square. I don't think Russell Wilson's a square at all. I think he's a regular dude. But I think it was coming out of a place on him saying that he doesn't see like girls go for that type of dude, because it's like you said, like a lot of girls at a certain age aren't ready to date a Russell Wilson like that. So they go for the quote unquote bad boys, or the toxic dudes, or the dudes they know that's not good for them. And then when they get with them, they be like, oh shoot, this is not what I expected at all. He ends up now, it just looks like he really ain't shit. But it's just like, that's what you pick though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like me going to McDonald's and ordering a cheeseburger and taking the bite out of it and being like, ugh, beef. I mean, ain't that's what you ordered? That's what you wanted off the menu. Then you can't be like, take a bite out of it and be like, ugh, that's what you wanted. It's like,
yeah.
And I see like girls on social media after that clip came out, I see a number of girls saying like, oh, he tripping. I would love a Russell Wilson. Now, I would love a dude that be there for me and stuff, or as nice as Russell Wilson. And I always wondered, like, would you want him as your first pick, or do you want him now after you go through your exes? You get what I'm saying?
And I mean, I'm not going to say like all women, because I mean,
right.
Of course, everyone has their own situations, but I know like for me, when I was in high school and I was like 18, 19, first dating and stuff, I did have moments where I'm like, he's too nice, which like isn't actually a complaint that someone is like too nice to you or anything. But at the time, as a teenager, I'm like, he doesn't have enough edge for me, blah, blah, blah. But that's because at the time I was a kid dating, thinking, the bad boys and all of that. But as I got older and matured and I started thinking, okay, what do I want in terms of like a partner to have a family with and build the future with and stuff, you start to reevaluate. I'm like, that's not fun. Like all that drama and stuff. And you leave it to when you were young and when you were in that mind state. And so I thought it was unfair when he's like, everybody got a type. You don't go from someone like Future to Russell Wilson. Like, yeah, you do. And you're allowed to change and like have different types of partners. So like, you can date a bunch of duds or whatever, but that doesn't mean that now you can't be with a guy like that. Or like it's not genuine because now all of a sudden you like someone like that who's different.
Yeah, I think for men, like I agree with you saying, but for us, I feel like we get confused because it's when you say like preference or like that's my preference, that's the type of guy I like and stuff. It gets confusing to us because a lot of girls, they would be like, I want a Russell Wilson, that's my type, but it's just like, if that was your type, like say if you say that's Russell Wilson is your type of dude, right? But when we look at your list of exes and your last 5 exes were like Futures or toxic or they treated you bad and stuff like that, it's going to be hard to really look at and be like, are you sure that's your type?
I mean, to be fair, though, I feel like if you were to encounter a woman who's like, my type is Russell Wilson, then you should ask her like, okay, so what about Russell Wilson is your type? Like, it's very easy to say, this picture, but what is it? Because for some people, it really could legit be the money. And he is handsome. Say what you will, but Russell Wilson looks very, very nice. So it's like, he's a good looking guy. He's rich. He plays football. So sure, those are perks. But are you also interested in him for like the consistency and the fact that he is like a family oriented man and all that stuff? So like, if you actually ask a person to elaborate on what they mean by that, I think then you'll figure out if they're real or like if they really mean that or not.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I agree. I feel like when you're at a certain age, you're allowed to make mistakes, especially when you're young, and you're allowed to like go through changes and stuff. Like me personally, if I was like 15, 14, I would say my type would be any girl that likes anime or comics. If you wasn't liking that, I can't mess with you. But like as I got older, I'm like, I don't really care. It's not a requirement no more. You get what I'm saying? I'm like, she got to watch Naruto or she got to read Spider-Man 292, the comic book.
Wait, are you saying that you don't have like your standards are not, like your standards are very different, like limited now? Like,
no, I'm not saying they're limited, but I'm trying to go back to what you were saying. Like over time, that's not my only requirement anymore. Like, because a lot of us,
they're broader now.
Exactly. We like to think of it. Our standards is like, okay, this is my standard. If they don't meet it, I can't mess with you. This is going to be my standards on the person I want forever. But as like you said before, when you're young at a certain age, you get what I'm saying? Like you really don't see the bigger picture. So you thinking, this is all I want. Like for a lot of women, I've seen a lot of women like growing up like that go for the future type dudes. If they want to, deny or if they want to, but then as they got older and they went through those future type dudes and see, they not really shit like I thought, then they like, okay, let me broaden my standards and my preferences because I can't just be messing with this one type of dude. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like,
do you have sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, continue with your thought because I have a question. I don't want to get you off track.
And it's like we kind of see this now that's in the media too, because like obviously we already know about the Will Smith and Chris Rock thing and stuff.
Keep my wife's name
out your mouth. He said, "Wow, yes."
Whoa.
Oh my God! All right, but yeah, we already know that, and like, you see like online with debates and stuff, like some people bringing up Tupac. Obviously, we know Tupac is a street dude, a bad boy, and Will Smith, they trying to say he was a goody two shoes, and they trying to say like his inner Tupac came out and stuff like that, and it's just like people making that comparison with the bad boy versus the good guy, and I guess you can relate it to kind of Future and Russell Wilson and stuff like that, how girls secretly still want the bad boy. But I feel like Tupac situation is different because he's no longer here. So it's like, why are we still like doing these comparisons? You get what I'm saying?
For all we know, he could have been over it when he was alive. So
I don't know. But what was your question? Oh Lord.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, I got it. Okay. So the whole like you even bringing up the Tupac thing, like people just can't let go of the idea that like you cannot go from someone like Future to Russell Wilson. Like you can't go from a bad street boy, whatever, to someone like that. But I feel like the whole Russell Wilson Ciara thing proved that's not true, that women do in fact like the nice guys and they do win a lot of the time. And so I just feel like it's mostly men who can't get past that idea that women are attracted to nice guys. Like, what do you think it is that's so appealing about Future, or I guess like street dudes in general, that make some men believe that there's no way a woman could not be attracted to them for someone like Russell Wilson?
I got a list of a couple things, but I feel like one of the main reasons, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, a lot of street dudes or like those hood dudes, they got that I don't care mentality. Like they got that whole I don't care what she think, or I don't care about her feelings. This is how I am. If they don't like it, you can leave. And I see like a lot of girls, especially like when I was younger, and even now, for real, it's like they gravitate toward those type of dudes because like as men, we're used to being like we're told to be the gentleman, we're told to be chivalrous and stuff, care about her feelings, hold the door for her, give her flowers and stuff. And when a girl sees a dude like a Future that doesn't care about her feelings and be like, yo, you ready or not? Either way, I'm leaving with you. Shit, ooh, I'm not used to this type of dude no more. Shit, coming back, you know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of street dudes have that certain kind of mentality of I don't care, and like that over aggressiveness, if you will. And it's like I hate to say this, but that's especially in the Black community too, which like it's kind of going like the transition to my next segment, because I want to talk about like why like it's so big and like toxic behavior is so glorified in our relationships and Black relationships, because like a lot of dudes that are like Future, I hate to say it, they do win. Like they might not win in like years later, but for like our age and younger, those dudes are winning. I hate to say it, and you brought up the situation about like, Russell Wilson Ciara is a prime example of how the nice guy is wins in the end. Yeah, but here's the thing about that. One, they're celebrities and they both have money. Mm-hmm. So it's like, like I said, we gotta take it back down to the ground here. You know what I'm saying?
There could be plenty of instances where there's like the regular guy who's with like someone that you think is way out of his league, which is crazy because she's not even out of his league, but it happens.
It does happen, but like in this generation as men, the reason why we don't really see it and want to believe it, because it doesn't happen as often as we think it should. Because you see like the girl that was with the bad boys for most of her 20s and teens and stuff, she finally decides to settle down with the Russell Wilson in her 30s. But it's just like, okay, if I was really your type from the begin with, like you say on social media, like you say to your family and friends, then why wasn't I your first type to begin with? You get what I'm saying? So it is hard to believe. Like I get what you're saying. Nice guys do win in the end, but it's like at the end, it's like in our mind, men are like, am I really trying to wait 20 years for her to finally settle down with me? Or do I want to go with the girl that actually likes me for me, that I don't have to wait for? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that.
Like I'm not trying to wait for 10 years or 20 years for a girl to finally see me for me after she got played by the Future type dudes. Like a comparison to that, you ever you watch Family Matters?
Yes.
Okay, you know Steve.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's kind of where I got my name
Myra
from.
Or something.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like Laura dogged Steve for like 10 seasons. Like I'm like, I don't want him. Leave me alone.
But to be fair.
What?
But to be fair, Steve still chased after her.
That's true.
So that's a thing for him too. Like,
yeah,
just like for him, like there are some guys who will continuously pursue women who are not showing any kind of interest in them for them, which is like, I understand that's wrong and that's hurtful, but also you have to take account for like, I don't deserve to be treated like this. Like, this is, you know, like, this is ridiculous. I'm not going to stand for this. And you have to go and find women who are attracted to you for you. Like, Steve kind of played himself because once he changed, and then, was it Laura? Then she was into him.
Yeah, now.
And then he dropped the other girl. And it's like, but she liked you from the beginning, so why did you drop her? And it's like, that happens too, where a guy meets someone who's like there for him, loves him, all of that. And then when he gets who he wants, he's like, oh, bye, girl. So it's like, nobody doing anybody right.
He was a sucker for that. I'm not going to lie, because Maya was bad.
Bad example.
No, it was good. No, the reason why I bring that up, because it shows that like how we gotta wait for so long, because like I said, Steve waited for like 10 seasons for my like for Laura, thinking that, oh yeah, now she sees me as the actual good guy and we can live happily ever after. And there's a lot of dudes out here thinking that it's about to be on some family matters love, thinking like, if I wait around for her long enough, then I can finally get my Sierra or my Laura. It don't work like that, player.
But like, Russell Wilson didn't wait for Sierra. He didn't like post her picture on his wall when he was in high school or college or whatever. And like, I'm gonna get, like, he lived his life. He was married. I'm sure he learned a lot about himself and grew a lot through that. He was single for a while and he became the person that he is, so that when he met Sierra, it's like, boom, ready. Just like how Sierra did her thing. And then like, people shouldn't be like waiting for one person, just, you know, like, I really want this one person and they rejected me and I'm just going to wait for them to come around. Like, you don't have to wait, just move on. Like, you're going to find somebody. Like, you don't got to worry about them. Let them figure themselves out. And if they come around and they're like, oh, I'm going to be with you, then you have your decision to make on whether or not you want to pursue it. But like, don't sit around and wait around for somebody who's like iffy on you. You better go.
Talk heavy, because there's a lot of people that out here doing that, thinking like, okay, I want to wait around for my Prince Charming. I'm gonna wait around for my princess. It's like, if they don't like you from the jump, you just move on. So it's just like back to the conversation with the Future and Russell Wilson thing and stuff. It is just like a lot of dudes don't really. It's hard for us to really believe that girls really settle down with the nice guys, because it's like, okay, so am I going to get you as soon as I talk to you if I'm the nice guy, or I'm going to have to wait till you go through some stuff or some drama with the toxic dude for you to appreciate me? And I feel like a lot of us like really struggle with that idea, because I'm not going to lie to you. Like, if I talk to a girl and she says that her type is like a nice guy and stuff, and I'll be like, oh yeah, and like, who you dating now? And she's like, oh, he's the exact opposite of the guy I just said. I'm not going to believe that's your type. I'm sorry. I'm just not. I'm not going to believe that you like the Russell Wilson type of dude if you just say, yeah, I got a date with the Future type dude. He gonna take me out shopping.
You like the idea, baby.
Yeah.
You want everybody. I think everybody wants to be like wooed and swept off their feet and all that. And sometimes people be falling for the chumps that don't do that stuff, and you just hope like maybe someday they'll sweep me off my feet a little bit, and they don't, and you just hope and you hope and you hope, and then that's when you get smart and you're like, no, this ain't it.
Yeah, thanks. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, girls that say that, oh yeah, I like a man who's a little toxic, just a little toxic. First of all,
they toxic. That's what
exactly. First of all, let's get something clear. Being toxic ain't like ordering a frappuccino from Starbucks. You can't just be like, oh, a little toxic on the top with a little cream, little sprinkles at the top. No, it's like, if you say you want toxic, you gotta be ready for the whole cup. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, when girls say that stuff like that, like, I like my dude a little edge or a little street or a little toxic. It's like, sis, all right, you want now when you get sick from that toxicness, don't come running and be like,
it's not like a chart either. Like, it's levels to it. Like, oh, I want a guy that's like a little bit toxic. Like, what's a little bit of toxic? Like,
exactly.
He gonna use your car all the time. He gonna get tickets on the car. He gonna be driving his baby mom in the car. Like, like what's the level of the toxicity?
Exactly.
He doesn't come with like a chart or like a receipt or something. So it's like,
he said, first of all, girl, he only smacked me up on Tuesdays, okay? He gotten way better, okay? He promised. So y'all better leave him alone. But yeah, it's like you said, being toxic doesn't come with a little graph chart and like either you want toxic or not. So like you can't complain when you get the whole package if that's what you're asking for. That's just my opinion. I want to get into the next segment about do we glorifying like toxicity in Black relationships. And I'm tired of keep bringing this up, but obviously because it was all on social media now. But the Will Smith and Jada thing. And I want to touch on more about the Tupac situation too, because when Will Smith got up there and smacked him, people were like saying in the comments talking about his inner Tupac came out and stuff, or Tupac was guiding him and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my God, whatever. But I want to talk about that because like when we think of Tupac now, like everybody else, Tupac has his pros and cons. He has flaws like everybody ain't. Tupac is still one of my favorite artists because the message he was talking about we need change. Like Brenda's got a baby and stuff like that. But it was also stuff like Tupac was a wild dude. You know what I'm saying? He was a street dude, and it's like he was the type to walk up on the dude and like rock you right in your mitt. You get what I'm saying? And it's just like he was just abrasive. He was a fighting. You know what I'm saying? He was to shoot at you and stuff like that. And it's like that kind of same kind of persona and mindset kind of led to his demise at the same time. You get what I'm saying? As much as we glorify, we love Tupac. He's still one of my favorite artists, but it's just like those flaws that he had kind of led to his demise in the long run. And the reason why I'm bringing that up because if we bring it back down to reality, to the surface of it, we in the Black community, we see like a lot of dudes in our community like that. Like they had that kind of persona as Tupac. Out here in the streets, be ready to do wild stuff out here to protect what's theirs. You know what I'm saying? About to rhyme you, about to run up on a dude they don't know and sock them and fights and stuff like that. That was leads to their demise, either dead or in jail. But we also see like a lot of Black women like still pursue and chase after those dudes. And I'm not saying all, obviously not all. But we see a lot of that happen in our community, especially like women that are our age or younger. So my question for you, because you are our female co-host, just to get a female perspective, why do you think women chase after those type of dudes, even though they know it leads to their demise in the long run?
I don't think they think that it'll lead to their demise in the long run. I don't really have too much personal experience as far as like dating street dudes or whatever. But in the case of Tupac, I guess I can see the appeal because while yes, he would be rapping about like shooting and drinking and all that stuff, like he went to performing arts school and he did poetry and like quoted Shakespeare and stuff. So he did have like artistic, passionate aspects of him too, which I could understand would be attractive and surprising from someone like him. And I wouldn't be surprised if there are a lot of guys like that who may be considered like hood dudes, street dudes, whatever, like they come off a certain way, but deep down, like they might like to paint watercolors or like they crochet or something. Who knows? But they might have like a softness about them that does kind of counteract the toughness that you see. So maybe for some women, they see that little peak of like softness and they think, oh, maybe I can change him, or maybe like we can work with everything else because like this is fine, or like, that you want to hold on to that excitement and that passion because he has these good qualities, but he also has these bad qualities too. And I don't think that people actually like weigh the heaviness of the bad qualities and what it could mean for them. So when you say like, oh, their demise, I don't really think that a lot of people consider how like the bad qualities of another person can impact them and negatively affect them. Because realistically, if you are dating someone who's like in a gang or like they do shady stuff and it is dangerous, it doesn't matter if they like to crochet or they're really sweet or whatever behind closed doors. In reality, they are compromising your safety. So in that sense, I think it's just a matter of like, you have to you have to accept people for the way they are and then treat them accordingly. So like you can accept that someone has decent qualities, but that doesn't mean that you have to be with them and like date them and stuff just because of that. Like if they're not doing that, if they're doing some stuff that's dangerous or whatever, just like, but I don't think a lot of people see it that way. I think they're just blinded by wow, they're pretty neat.
Exactly.
We can get through that.
The reason why I was laughing because you try to bring up that example of like, well, maybe that to crochet. So just imagine a hood dude like, hey babe, how was your day? I just killed some dude. Hey, you got my sewing kit in the back?
He made it for his grandma.
He's like, yes. I'm gonna go sew after I kill somebody.
They go to Michael's or something together, Joann Fabrics.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? And that's a good point where a lot of girls see that like little touch of softness in those street dudes and think like, oh, well, it is some good in him, so let me try to change him. But my thing, it's like you also said too, it's just like you're putting your life in danger by being with those type of people in the long run too. Because whether he is a soft side or not, you being with a street dude or him doing some shady stuff, you putting yourself on the line too. If y'all riding somewhere and he got beef with somebody else, you know what I'm saying, and they try to kill him and you in that passenger seat, guess what? Them bullets are for rated E for everyone, just like anybody else. You are going to get caught in the crossfire as well. And it's like, I feel as though deep down, like a lot of women know that. It's not like they don't know that lifestyle ain't dangerous, especially if you grew up around it your whole life. I feel like they know that can be lead to their demise as well. But a lot of them are so wrapped up in the fantasy of, well, let me try to change them and let's try to work it through, try to get through the bad. And so that way, if I change them, then that means I can have the edge and the good guy. I can have everything I want.
How many women have, or I guess anybody, have gotten with someone who they heard was abusive to their exes, and then they just dismiss it as like, oh, their exes are crazy, they're not like me? Or like, how many people have been with someone with someone who's a serial cheater? They cheat on everybody, but they think that it's different for them. Or like someone who has all these kids with all these people, and then they get pregnant and they think that you're going to be the one that gets treated special, the child is going to have them in their life. And everyone else, like those were just, that didn't count, but this is the real thing. I think that has a big part of it to do with it too. I mean, like people only understand the risk as it applies to other people. Like it happened to them, but I'm different. I'm me, like I'm special. So like, I'm not going to get caught up in that stuff because why would that happen to me? Like,
yeah, a lot of people learn too late and they don't really like go learn from the lessons of other people. See, I think it's two types of people when it comes to learning lessons. I feel like it's people that's wise enough to learn their lessons from the mistakes of others, and it's people that gotta learn their lessons the hard way. That's just my personal opinion on that. And a lot of us like choose to learn our lessons the hard way. I hate to say it. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, oh, that's not me. My dude would never do that, even though he in the streets. And then a few months later, he do the exact same thing. And I want to touch on that too, because obviously with the Will Smith and things, stuff like, but like I said, let's bring it back down to like on reality. It's like, I see a lot of girls chase after those hood or street dudes in our community just because they want that sort of excitement that brings that unpredictability that brings with it too.
I don't know. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to just say like a lot of girls chase after those dudes with that like excitement and stuff because they're, oh, I like a dude that's in that lifestyle because I get excited from that because you never know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's like a turn on for them, but it's like at the same time, it's like, if you got to risk your life just for a little excitement, or you got to risk your safety, or like the risk of your feelings getting hurt or your heart getting broke, why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? Instead, you could have went for the good guy that like gave you the world, and just because he's not as exciting, he can be exciting because it's not like that's a like persona I don't like that people have on good guys. Like they're boring, they're not exciting. Why can't he be exciting? He can learn, like he can't just be spontaneous. Yo, pack your stuff up. We going on a trip. But I just don't feel. I said pack it up. We going on a trip. Like good guys can do that, but we're so used to seeing like that in the Black community where the level of masculinity or excitement is the street dude because they're unpredictable. So it's like that's what a lot of women gravitate to because like we never know what's going to happen. And it's like I said before, a lot of girls gravitate to those type of dudes because they have that I don't give a fuck mentality. And that's something that I see a lot, not all, but a lot of women like gravitate to because like, oh shoot, he about that life and he don't care about my feelings. Well, this is something different. I want to see where this takes me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, I definitely think that's more like an internal thing too, though. Like,
yeah, it is.
I think if everybody had like, as far as self-respect goes and self-esteem and all that, if we were all at 100, I don't think anyone would actually be like, oh yeah, I want someone who's a little toxic or whatever. I don't think anyone would want that because like inside you would have everything you need to where you don't need like someone to rile you up or bring like drama and stuff into your life.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not like a emotion doctor or whatever. I don't know. But
I'm not either. Trust me.
But I think that it's a maturity thing. Like a real adult, a real man, a real woman is not gonna think that kind of stuff is like appealing or fun or like, and maybe they do, but it's like, even then as an adult, you then communicate with your partner, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. I want excitement, you're not giving me this. And then you figure it out as a couple, you know, like you don't, it's just, I understand maybe people like what they like, but it's just the way that you're going about it too, is what makes it like
exactly
frustrating for me. Because, you know, it's people's relationships is their business. So like you like what you like. You want to date a hood dude, you want a nice guy, you want excitement, you want edge, whatever, that's great. But like you need to be honest and open with that and let people know that this is what I want, and don't like play with people or hurt people's feelings, you know?
And you said a good point too. And one of my friends, yeah, she was on an episode before on the podcast, and she we were talking about it this weekend, and one of the points she said too was a lot of us are not used to seeing like functional family households. So it can be an internal, like you said, it can be an internal thing because a lot of women maybe don't see that kind of like masculine figure in their household growing up. We're doing the right thing. So if you don't have guidance in your household, where's the next thing you're gonna go and seek it out in your environment? So if you see it, if you don't have a father figure, a positive father figure in your household, then you're going to see the dudes on your block, the old heads around the way that's about that life. And they be like, oh, shoot, that's what being a man is? Oh, he just killed this person. Oh, he out here on trapping or selling drugs and stuff like that. That's what a real man is, getting his money any means necessary, or protecting his family by running up and punching a dude in the face or shooting him and stuff like that. So that's where a lot of us, especially a lot of women like that's come from like inner cities, get their persona of what a masculine man looks like. So it's like, I feel like it is internal. A lot of it comes from the environment too. But like I said before, it's like a lot of times you also see how that turns out. Because personally, I don't know anybody that comes from the hood that hasn't seen like the consequences of what that leads. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me it's not one time you know somebody or somebody around your way that lived that lifestyle and just been like, oh yeah, I retired at 50. This was the best lifestyle I could have chose. No, they either ended up dead or ended up in jail. So it's just like, it's like you said before, we got to be realistic. If everybody got a type, everybody got a preference on what they want, but you got to be honest with yourself and be like, okay, this is my type, but do I know what's going to happen if I choose this type of dude? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of them don't really want to sit down and be honest with themselves by saying that. What you were going to say?
I think that goes into a lot of what you were saying about the just like parental figures and things like in the Black household and the Black community. Yep. Like, I think that's a big reason why there's so much toxicity when it comes to romantic relationships with Black people, because it's like there's already this tension with the whole like, oh, absent fathers, deadbeat fathers, single mother household doing everything. So this idea that the woman has to do everything, and this animosity that, oh, the Black man isn't going to do this and he's not going to take care of the household. And so it's like Black women kind of have this resentment, I guess, not to say in generally, but there is like a sense of like, yeah, I guess resentment.
Yeah, I know.
And
I get what you're saying.
and there's like this standard of like, if I'm gonna be with you, you have to be like this, and this. Like you have to pretty much make up for where I'm lacking right now, because there is not a man in the household. So you really got to step up, like financially, all of that. Like you got to take care of it. And so maybe like Black men look at that like, what? That's not fair. Like, how are you going to demand all this and all, look at you, you should have chose better and you should have blah, blah. And then you got Black women like, chose better. Well, what about the man? So he can just leave and he should have did, so it's like at each other's necks all the time because you're not doing this and you're not doing that. And so it is normalized, this idea of like struggle love. Like if you are in a relationship, y'all got to just go through it. Like, stick it out. You do each other wrong, y'all fight, y'all argue, y'all not happy, but you got to stick it out. But it's like, for what? You're not happy. And like, why are you so angry at each other? Like, you're a team, you're partners. So you're supposed to tear all of that down and like communicate with each other, because you don't want bad for each other. But for some reason, there's like this tension all the time, or like, you can't be soft and like break down with each other. It just has to be like, I'm the man, so I leave the house, and it's like, I'm the woman, and it's.
Mm-hmm. And it's sad to say that too, because I'm glad you brought that up. It's like it starts from the household too, and it's like even in media we see a lot of Black relationships like portrayed that way, as far as like struggle love. Like it always gotta be some kind of tension or some kind of like stress, and when it comes to having love. Yeah, and like even like in the movies and TV shows, like Baby Boy. You know what I'm saying? I love Baby Boy growing up, but it's just like, yo, he was cheating. She was always in his face, punching on him, and then he ended up hitting her back. And then it was like they was always fighting and yelling that ended up leading to makeup sex, but still they was always still fighting like 10 minutes later. And then it's just like the movie ends with them ended up being back together and living happily ever after. But it's just like, it's just a false narrative saying like, oh yeah, we can struggle and fight and cheat on each other, but we can also have our little happy ever after moment. And it's like,
and that's like what's highlighted always too, like the arguing and the fighting and the disagreeing, and you ain't this or you ain't that. And it's like, why can't y'all just like have a good day?
Yeah, chill. Can we just chill? Yeah, great.
Can we just have like a date night? Like, can we do brunch? Like, why do we have to do this? And it's and I think, okay, yeah, it's easy to blame it on the media, but I guess it does, like seeing those images, because I remember seeing that when I was little, like stuff like that, like loving basketball and stuff, thinking like, well, if I want to fall in love, I guess I gotta like get dog walked until he decides that I'm a good woman and he needs to start doing me right. And that's like, wait, that's not how you get treated. That's not love. That's not a relationship.
Right.
And it's not. And I think that's, for some reason, people have accepted it. And like, for some reason, the worse you get treated, the more they love you. And that's not true.
Exactly. You are not about to go on through a relationship with struggling like that, or cheating and fighting all the time and still walk away in the sunset. It's like most likely it's going to end up with one of y'all leaving each other, and then it's going to be y'all going to end up probably have kids, and then it's going to be that dysfunction of who on taking care of these kids and not raising the kids in a 2-parent household, and then that's where it all starts, and the cycle goes on and on and on. And we see that, and I'm not saying, like, just to make this clear, everybody in the audience, I'm not saying this doesn't happen in every other race. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in white culture or Asian culture or Latina culture, but we talk about Black culture right now, and it's like, it's portrayed more, and we see it way more. It gets glorified more. And the reason why I bring it up,
like normal.
Yeah. And the reason why I bring that up too is because I want to touch on, like, I want to ask you a question, but I want to do some little backtrack on it. Because me personally, I feel as though toxic traits get pushed more on Black men than any other race. That's just my personal belief. Because I see white dudes that can be regular average Joes, 9-to-5s, especially, or even Asians or Latina men. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They can be average 9-to-5 dudes, and as long as they have confidence, they got their stuff together, you know what I'm saying, they can still get validation from women. But whereas though as Black men, we have to not only be all those things, but also we still got to have that little edge or that street persona to us a little bit in order to see it as 100% real men. And it's just like, but they didn't have to have those qualifications. But why do I? So I did a little poll.
How?
I did a little poll on social media, and I was just asking an opinion. So I'm going to ask you too, because I got some responses from it, and I wanted to see what you was going to say. So the question I asked in this poll was, who encourages toxic traits amongst Black men more? Either A, Black women, B, Black men, or C, both. Now, before I say the answers to most of it, I want to hear your thoughts on that. Who you think pushes it more on Black men?
Pushes it more? I guess both. I would say both because well, obviously because men do some things and women do some things, and that's why I chose both. That's how that works. But I think it's definitely both because I guess in order to I feel like Black men have to take accountability because some do accept those stereotypes and perpetuate those stereotypes. So I understand that it's unfair to have that attached to you, that in order to be desirable, you have to be super masculine and have so much to you and all of that. But at the same time, you don't have to subscribe to that. You don't have to believe in that as a Black man. In order to be valid as a Black man, I have to be this way. So I think in that instance, it's some personal responsibility there where you have to decide what kind of Black man do you want to be? Do you want to be the kind that listens to what society says you should be and you follow this stereotype and idea of like, this is what a Black man is? Or do you want to be your own person and define it for yourself? But then at the same time, I think that you have Black women who are guilty of the same thing, who perpetuate this idea of what a Black man is. You got to man up and, oh, I don't want you to do this. And you can't it's not fair to expect like Black men can't show emotion or like they can't be soft or they can't be tired or weak sometimes, or like sometimes they just want to talk about their feelings and communicate and stuff. Like sometimes, like everybody has their days. And I don't think it's fair to, as a Black woman, to expect Black men to always be on all the time because they're human. So I do think that we could be a lot more sensitive to that. But then even more so, I think it relates to what I was saying before of just like this tension.
Yeah.
We all know how hard it is for Black men. We know, like Black women, Black men, we all know that. And I think that in us knowing that, we can do a lot better in treating each other a lot better and being a lot more sympathetic to each other rather than trying to be right and, oh no, it's Black women's fault. Oh, it's Black men's fault. I think we need to actually get an understanding of each other and where we're at so that we can come together and like really have healthy relationships.
Yeah, I agree. And that was actually everyone in the comments chose C as both. So you won the game. But yeah, it's like you said, like taking accountability, because I've seen it in women as far as like pushing this thing where, oh yeah, my man got to be tough, or he got to be able to defend me anytime, or he better be do this. He can't be soft. I don't want him to be soft. But it's like you said, we're humans too. But even though Black men, like we go through a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying? We gotta carry the weight of the world against us. At the end of the day, we're human too. So if like we're not always going to be 100% masculine all day, every long, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes like we go do stuff, you know what I'm saying? And it's okay to like be able to talk about that, but we feel as though we can't, because if we do show that side, all of a sudden she's going to question, like, I don't know, I guess like the leadership in the household would be like, is he really the man in this relationship? Because he seems soft. And it goes back to what we said, like, we see it so much in the Black community that it's like when you see that type of dude, you're going to question his masculinity. Like, he's not the man I thought he was. And
but
then
again, that's the maturity thing, because
yeah,
at a certain level, you're not going to question that.
yeah, exactly. And then I gotta say, we got as black men, we gotta take accountability for that as well, because, like you said, we do subscribe to that stereotype all the time. Instead of trying to change that cycle, we just be like, "Oh, well, it works for him. I see that dude be that stereotypical black man. Let me try it out to get validation from black women." You know what I'm saying? And this is like, dog, you can be different. It's okay to be different. You don't have to be that stereotype that people say. You know what I'm saying? And even to get deeper on it, because the sad part about it is a lot of comments that call like Russell Wilson like a square. Most of the comments I've seen were from black men. So this is like, I'm like, come on, bro.
It makes me wonder, like, what kind of men are you used to?
That's what I'm saying. And what's even worse, it's like, one, you're another black man bashing another black man, and two, when black women see like black men even call Russell Wilson square, because that just gives them more reason to be like, see, even other dudes are saying he a square.
If this kind of guy thinks he's a square, then maybe I should get with that kind of guy.
Exactly. But it's like you said before, it got to be accountability on both sides to change, because it is that tension between black women and black men that's been going on for so long. And I get it. A lot of that roots back from white supremacy and racism, that taking the black man out the household, making the black woman have to do everything. So now when she finally finds a good black man, she's like, oh, this dude got to be damn near Superman or to meet her expectations. But at the same time, it's like, we can't keep leaning on that. It's like, okay, we know racism is the reason why we're here, but what steps are we willing to take to get up out of this situation? We just can't be pointing the blame game on each other. Well, it's black men's fault because they wasn't in the household. Well, it's y'all fault because y'all won't let us be the man. It's like, we all gotta be accountable for what's going on here. And it's like, we just can't let toxic behavior go on just because we seen our parents go through it, our grandparents. We gotta be accountable. It's like, you know what? Even though I grew up in an environment like that, I have to be the one to be different. I have to be the one to be the game changer, so that way my family can, or my kids can see what a positive black couple looks like, and they can start their family of their own in a positive way. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why I think Russell Wilson and Ciara show. Someone even said it in the podcast after that. He made his comment. He said, like, you know, it's about the stability. It's about like peace. Exactly. And I think when it comes down to it, that's what it is. And when you do see a couple like that, it does, like, oh, that's beautiful, because it just looks like two people who did the work to get to where they're at. Like, it's not just stability in the relationship, but a stability in yourself so that you can bring that to the relationship. So you have two people who got to where they needed to be and got to the level that they needed to be as a person to meet each other and have this successful relationship. So when it comes down to it, like, we have to take a look at ourselves also before we get into these relationships and point fingers and like, you're doing this wrong and you're doing that wrong, and be honest about what we're looking for, and also like the stuff that we don't have together. Like, it's okay to be like, you know, I'm not here yet, but I'm working on it. And like, maybe you'll find someone who's cool with you working on it, and then you can work on it together, and then you have this beautiful relationship. But like, just work on yourself.
Yeah.
You know, like,
go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, because like, just work on yourself, and like, it's like you said, we just gotta break the cycle and try to be as stable as possible, because like, I know that we see this a lot where it's like the good Russell Wilsons, they get rejected by the girls that chase after the future, and then they like, oh shoot, now I gotta develop a bad boy mentality in order to get validation. But it's just like, okay, so we see that happen all the time, but are we willing to teach them that you don't have to do that? Because I see women saying like, well, he doesn't have to do that in order to get validation. But if he sees that you keep going for those future type of dudes, then he's going to keep doing it. So it's like, a way to break that cycle is stop chasing after those type of dudes. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, or if you're going to keep chasing after those dudes, just be cool with what's going to happen. Like,
yeah.
Don't be surprised.
So we have a clip from a small movie. I know you saw this movie, Tyler Perry's Confessions of a Marriage Counselor. You remember that movie?
I think I've seen it in school, actually.
Yeah, so, in school, y'all was watching Tyler Perry in school.
But like a Friday or something. I don't know.
Yo, so we have a little small clip from the movie, well, from the trailer, and it's basically about Julia Smollett. She's related to Jussie Smollett, and she plays a marriage counselor, and she's with this average good guy, you know what I'm saying? But she's not being satisfied or pleased in her life. Then she meets this exciting quote unquote bad boy who has a lot of money, and he takes her on a ride, and you know what I'm saying? He pleasures her and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? So we got a little small clip from her. Let me bring it up real fast. And from the trailer, you kind of see how the relationship plays out. So we're gonna bring it up.
How was your third week? Any better?
Why am I wasting my time helping old men get a date?
Who's that?
The largest social media inventor since Zuckerberg
Is looking to invest in my company.
You run Landover Park.
You run there?
Well, imagine me running into you.
My husband forgot my birthday.
Babe, I'm sorry.
He's the only guy you've ever been with.
I don't believe in sex before marriage. I'm a Christian. I was raised that way.
What do you dream about?
I don't dream anymore. What do you dream about?
You?
I knew when you moved here, the devil was gonna be after you. I just knew it. You're changing.
I want to feel alive. I want to feel wanted.
You never know who you're married to. Start off one way and end up somebody else.
You don't know how much I love you.
That boy is gonna hurt you something bad.
Yo, so after watching that trailer of that Tyler Perry movie, what you think about that?
I think she came a long way than she did from Eve to Bayou, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, little sassy little girl. Now she out here flying on private jets with toxic dudes.
But I do think that it's just, again, a maturity thing. Like, I understand the trailer showed that maybe her marriage was kind of losing its spark or whatever, but that's where you communicate. You don't get mad that he forgot your birthday. You just talk to him. You could, I guess you could still be mad, but at least express it to him. Don't go going on a private jet with this Michael B. Jordan wannabe guy.
Why you coming with the dude neck like that? Fake Michael.
I don't know his name.
Oh man, Robbie Jones. I think that's his name.
I'm so sorry, Robbie Jones.
Yeah, he's a good
I
actor.
apologize to that man.
I apologize to that man. But yeah, it's like you said, communication is key. You know what I'm saying? Just don't go out here and cheat and just because somebody forgot your birthday. And it's like I said before, it's like, just to relate back to our topic, it's just like you can choose those dudes you want to. Everybody has a type, everybody has a preference, but as long as you know the consequences of your choices, you know what I'm saying? Because spoiler alert, you know what I'm saying? They end up getting divorced. The dude ends up going crazy. Like the dude that she was on that private jet having the time of her life, he ends up going crazy and going Mike Tyson on there. So
no.
Like just know the choices that you make and be take accountability of it. So it's like, just relating it back to our topic, it's like you can chase after these toxic dudes all you want to, but at the end of the day, it's like you gotta live with those consequences and can't go around just blaming all men for that. You just gotta, you know what I'm saying? I feel like we talked about this so much, and I don't know how much we can really like bat it over the head. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, when it's all said and done, people like what they like. So if you do like those kind of guys or those kind of women, like you said, you have to just be open to the possibilities that it may not be the best outcome. But at the same time, you know what? Some people realize that that's not for them. And maybe they want a little peace and stability, like a Russell Wilson. And that's okay too. Don't drag the squares or whatever just for living their lives. They ain't doing nothing wrong. They ain't hurting nobody. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's all I got to say about that. Anything else you got to say?
Nope. I think it's safe to say we covered a lot of bases tonight.
Exactly. We got the home run on this one. So okay, with that being said, I go by the name of Steph Urkel, and
I'm so bad.
And we'll see you next time on the episode of the Millennial Dungeon.
Bye.
Yeah.
Go.